Hello and welcome to the regular Friday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. All of us from Spurs Diehards and fellow guests, season's greetings. And tonight we'll be talking about, we're going to start off with a long conversation hopefully about Thomas Frank. We'll do predictions and scores for the Liverpool game. And if we've got time, we'll talk about transfers, which I hate unless the stories have gained gravitas. By that, I mean, if clubs are talking, players have agreed terms, agents are talking with us, then we know that something is actually happening. Whether it turns out, well, whether it ends up with us getting a player is neither here nor there, but at least there's more, there's a bit of truth to the rumours because most of the transfer market is just complete and utter bullshit, to be honest. Right. So I've got a couple of excellent guests from you. This panel was so much better than last week's. Right? So we'll start off with you, James. How are you? In the south?
Yeah, it's all right. Weather was terrible yesterday. Been actually quite nice today. It was about 12 degrees, sunny for most of the day. Pretty good weather for December, I'd argue. I wasn't freezing cold outside, so yeah, can't complain.
And Alan, how are things in sunny California? Is it sunny?
It is sunny. No clouds. It's been sunny. It gets cool at night, but it gets fairly warm, up to about 25 for you guys during the daytime. So, happy Friday to both of you.
Thank you. And let's say hello to a few of you in the chat. Yeah, have a drink. It's Friday night, James. Brian, evening, Brian. He's a real life friend, Brian. Simon, good evening. Another good friend of the show. Roger, yeah, well supports the show, does Roger. Alan saying hello to Bia and Bingai. Yeah. Hi, guys. And if you've got any questions, get them in the chat channel and we will take them. And Nita, another good friend of the show. Hi, Nita. I think we're early at the moment and we've got 25 of you watching on various platforms. If you like our show, please hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. We can't hear it. And give the videos a thumbs up because it really helps the algorithm. We are a fledgling group that's growing. We do pride ourselves on providing fact-based contents and having mature and sensible guests. Don't laugh, right? So yeah. So we'll start off with it. Thomas Frank, guys. James, he's had what is it? 15 league games, 6 Champion League games. 21. He's had pre-season games, and was it 1 or 2 League Cup games before Newcastle knocked us out? What was it?
2 or 3, I think.
Was it?
I don't know. It was a couple at least. It was more than 1.
Well, so what's your take on Thomas Frank so far?
I'm not impressed. Sorry. Yeah, no. I think at least with perhaps other managers, Frank's coming in, you think, okay, great, we're going to have a manager who's pragmatic tactically, defends when we need to defend. And our first official game, PSG, in the Super Cup, yeah, okay, we actually played quite well for the majority of the game. Okay, substitutions, and we slacked off a little bit. But we lost to PSG on penalties. I don't think anyone was really that bothered by that. And we mentally we're going, okay, well, we played well, the guys who won the Champions League for a good 60 minutes. This bodes well, sort of thing. And then ever since then, I'd say bar maybe like the City game, I've not seen that many good performances out of this team. And obviously, you do have to like differentiate the point that our attacking options are severely limited. There's no Solanke, Madison, or Kulu. But we're also quite bad defensively with Romero and Van de Ven. And you just think, well, like, okay, maybe that's tolerable if we're trying different things. But at the moment, a lot of the time, it seems as if we're just... Nothing seems to stick at the moment, right? And I think that's the frustration, and it doesn't really seem to be a clear idea. I feel like at Spurs, you can either play good football or get good results. Like, we can tolerate bad football or bad results. Like, if you play good football and we lose, I feel like that's very palatable to an extent for us. But you can't play bad football and get bad results and expect to be at Spurs very long.
Alan, what's your take on Thomas Frank before I give mine?
Look, it's a tough position to go into Spurs as the manager. There's a lot of expectation from the fans. There's a lot of money involved. And there's a lot of pressure, I'm sure, a downward pressure on Thomas Frank from above. I personally would never want to do this position. I don't think it's tenable for the most part. But things are a little different now. See, I say all of that, and I'm thinking, but that's when Daniel Levy was around. When Daniel Levy was around, it was a very difficult position. And now I'm curious how much flexibility Thomas Frank has. What I was kind of expecting out of Thomas Frank was not being Ange. I didn't want the high line anymore. And I just wanted to see progressive attacking football. I think like most fans, we were just tired of the high line and being 17th. Yes, we won the trophy and we're still very happy for that. And to take nothing away from that. But we lost a lot of games last season. And I think ultimately what I was looking for out of Thomas Frank was not to lose so many games in a season and put us through that again, regardless of trophies. I was expecting to give him time because it's a rebuild. I don't remember who mentioned it on another show, but they said, we've got, maybe it was Sava or something. Something about we have Conte players and we have Jose Mourinho players, and we still have Poch players, and we have players from most of the coaches, and they all fit a different peg, and Thomas Frank is going to need a few transfer windows. If he's backed and if he stays, whoever the coach is, would need a couple of transfer windows to really start to establish their type of football. What we're kind of seeing Thomas Frank do things like rotation when he really doesn't have the bench to rotate. When I say bench, he doesn't have the bench depth to rotate like he is. We have only a smaller number of players who I would depend on time and again, and a lot of players that I question why we still have them or why we got them in the first place. So my hope is that Thomas Frank can kind of start getting rid of the players, the deadwood, and the players that have come from previous regimes, and find a way to establish his own version of what this squad should be.
My take, I find Thomas Frank uninspiring. He's not my sort of manager. I mean, I've been lucky enough to witness, Bill Nicholson, Keith Birkinshaw, and then later on we've seen Terry Venables. We even see Odilon Ardiles, who played the right sort of football, even if they failed, right? And then you can move on to Joel and Redknapp and Pochettino. These were like two dares to do managers. They played the Spurs' traditional way of playing football, which was fast, attractive, attacking football, whether we won or lost. We didn't see that. I mean, this is why it gets me when we bring a manager in, because we weren't going. I knew it was going to end badly with Conte and Mourinho. You just knew it. Nuno, I didn't know nothing about, but you knew the style of football. But even at the time, they're world-class managers in their own way when they're doing it at other clubs, where some fans were just happy if we win, no matter how well they play. Fair enough, I get that. But it's not me. I'm a bit of a romantic in that way. I want to see fast, attractive, attacking football, no matter who's the manager of this club. And I don't see the point of bringing a manager in who doesn't suit Spurs' DNA. Yeah. And Frank, look, I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I do not want to go for a rinse and repeat. That gets absolutely nowhere. Not halfway through a season. We're still in the FA Cup. We've got a chance in that. I mean, you've always got a chance. It's 6 games to win it. We're not going to win the league. We're not going to win the Champions League. But we've still got a good opportunity, like with a couple of players in, Decky coming back and that, of improving our league position and finishing in the top 7, which is what I said at the beginning of things. I said 5th, 6th, or 7th, I think is achievable. Doesn't look like it now. I don't see many. I mean, like with the results that have gone, and like some of the results compared to some of the losses, it's the maths don't really add up. You draw away at Newcastle, you beat City away, you beat West Ham away, you get a draw at Brighton. Players that teams struggle and they beat teams like Liverpool and all that, and then we go and lose or we don't turn up, and it's hard to fathom it out on that. I mean, and now fans are losing patience, James, aren't they? And I get why, because we've been asked to be patient for season after season after season after season. I think like we've been sanguinated of patience, basically, and yeah, I mean, but we don't know. I haven't seen it at the stadium yet. I mean, and we don't, and we see it mainly through social media. We don't know what the majority of the fan base are thinking at this stage, but I would imagine they're losing patience.
I think in many ways, much in the same way, perhaps that, because obviously I'm quite a bit perhaps younger than Adrian, if you couldn't tell. So my first real memories of Spurs was watching Spurs in the Champions League. When Redknapp was manager, and watching Bale absolutely obliterate Maicon, and sending him to retirement, which apparently he genuinely never recovered from, which is really funny to me. And then there was Tim Sherwood, right, and a lot of negativity, and then Pochettino was manager. And then I remember talking to my dad about it, and there was sort of a positivity about Spurs. I wasn't, it's going to sound weird, but maybe like I had been a little bit ashamed to be a Spurs fan as a kid in school. And then with Pochettino, I wasn't, if that makes sense. Because I felt like we're a good team again, almost. And I think maybe we've sort of been in a rut recently. And I'm not saying Ange Postecoglou was the right man to stay. I'm not saying sacking him wasn't the correct decision, because I do think it was the correct decision to let him go. But winning the Europa League and, for lack of a better phrase, at least under Ange, you knew what he wanted to do. Whether or not that was the right way to play all the time, you can tell that he had an idea, which kind of does fit Spurs, does fit what we want to see. He went with it, and I think in the media in particular, he did his best to perhaps defend the club and stick up for everyone, which we haven't really seen with Frank. I mean, okay, like he seems like a really nice guy, and I like him. I just suspect that maybe at times I get the feeling that he doesn't appreciate that he's at one of the biggest clubs in the world. You're not at Brentford. You have to believe you can go into every game trying to win. Okay, like away at the new camp. All right, yeah, play defensively. I get that. But you still have to believe that with that defensive approach, you can win the game. And I think maybe he hasn't quite internally adjusted his expectations. And that's kind of the feeling I get from him. And I think fan perspective-wise, we've adjusted our expectations of what we want from a manager, because they were quite low because of Mourinho and Conte and Nuno. And now maybe they're perhaps a little bit higher because we finally blimmin' won something.
Alan, your take on fans losing patience?
I mean, I think it's not as much just patience as it's becoming like apathy. You know, I feel like for a lot of years now, the team feels like an asset on a piece of paper. You know, the way it's been treated, it doesn't feel like there's any real passion in the team, or from the higher ups. You know, there are other teams. I think their owners, their people, they get a little more involved. Anyway, with Thomas Frank and the fans, I think he is being very lackadaisical with the way he's communicating with us. You know, I don't think James said it. You know, whether he really truly grasps that he's at a Big Six club. You know, I don't know that he truly understands what that means, or maybe the responsibilities. I know that the football we've been watching has gotten worse, not better, over the course.
Sorry a second, Alan. Jose, yeah, I've got your message. Yeah, you can come on. I sent you the link, and Merry Christmas to you as well, mate.
Please, I have to do my guesses tonight.
All right.
My predictions. Yeah, so I think for the most part, someone else said it in here that, you know, Thomas Frank, was he the first choice or just the choice that fit the bill for Daniel Levy at the time? And I don't know the answer to that.
It was an Enoch appointment.
It was an Enoch appointment. Yeah, it was an Enoch appointment. So
and there weren't many people available at the time, was there?
You know, and there are more now.
Yeah, we'll be after the World Cup. There'll be loads of seconds, right?
But I mean, to be fair, back then, I think a lot of people would have taken anyone but Ange. You know, that when Ange left, I think most people were pretty Ange out by a certain point. Although we had won, there was, well, thank you, Ange, but fans. So getting Thomas Frank may not have been a panic buy or a cheap out. Maybe it was someone they felt like, well, this is just different, but it's not working. Even if he was the person we chose at the time, there has to be a kind of a period where you say, you know what, it's just not working. You're going backwards, not forwards. And I think all the fans can kind of sense it, that it's not getting any better. And now it's a question of, do we give him time to screw up the squad or not? You know, further than it already is, you know, with players that he feels works. But then you have to question, he also really wanted Brennan Johnson. I don't know that, and I'm not dissing Brennan Johnson so much as to say he wouldn't have been my first choice, but Thomas Frank apparently really wanted him at Brentford. Now I think they want him at Crystal Palace. Is what I heard. Well, I know we're going to talk rumors at some point, but I heard that Crystal Palace is very interested in him. But I think the fans have a right to be upset. Look, they're being sold very expensive. You guys buy, from what I understand, some of the most, if not the most expensive tickets in the area. Basically, you know, you pay a premium, but you're getting a subpar product. And I would be super pissed off if I was a season ticket holder. I would be super upset, because these last couple of games that we've played, barring the 2 that we won, and even when we won, we didn't even score an open play, but we did find a way to put it all together. But the game we just played against Nottingham Forest, I couldn't even stomach watching the rest of it after the second goal. It was painful. It was such a painful game to watch, and I blame everybody, Thomas Frank and the players. I think everybody's to blame. I don't know what's going on, but it's not right. So I think the fans have a right to be upset.
I think as well, perhaps Frank's reaction to I'm going to choose the Forest game as an example. You know, we're playing pretty poorly. We're making comical errors. When I played football, you know, as a younger person, so what, like 10 years ago, Yeah, my coach, big burly lad, Leeds fan, it's the chain smoke, great guy. See him in the pub sometimes. He would shout at us at halftime, "That's not effing good enough, lads. You're better than this. You've got to give it more effort. Why aren't you playing for each other?" And he'd also scream that on the touchline at children. And so that's one reaction. And you look at Frank, and he's just kind of standing there not saying anything. And you think, well, why aren't you annoyed? I get like not singling someone out for an error they make because they obviously feel bad about it themselves, and I don't think that's perhaps the best approach to management. But if it's a team issue of a poor performance, yeah, you can tell all of them this isn't good enough, And I think that's where it comes down to the mentality of the manager of thinking that, oh, it's okay to lose a game here and now to Nottingham Forest 3-0. Not at Tottenham, it isn't. No, it blimmin' isn't. Like, okay, yeah, if we're playing good football and we get unlucky, okay, that's one thing. But playing bad football and losing 3-0, yeah, the highest season ticket in Europe, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, we win the Europa League, we stick our chests out, we got a spring in our step, and then I think the board Enoch, who must take responsibility, because Levy was the front man over those 25 years, right? He was their front man, so he was the boss, so they have to take responsibility. They're trying to cut up paper over the cracks by investing 100 mil. We'll see what we do in January, won't we? And they'll be judged. They know, and the pressure's on them. And that's one reason why I've said on other podcasts, I don't think they'd sack someone they recruited in their first year of their sort of tenure, although they've owned the club for ages. I don't think they would do that. Good evening, Jose. I don't think they would sack Ange, because then it's a bit like governors admitting their own mistakes. They don't. We all know that crap only rolls downhill. It doesn't roll uphill, does it, in any business? So I think Frank is safe until the summer. We'll go through the fixtures coming up, which are tough, and we'll lose a couple of these quite easily. And then it'll get very toxic in social media, whether it does at the stadium or not. If it gets to the stage where the fans sing "You don't know what you're doing," then he's in big trouble, right? But I don't think we're at that stage yet, and we'll see. So let me just remove this banner. Yeah, well, yeah, King Oddle's always, talks a lot of sense. Evening, Jose. How are you? Are you losing patience?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm well, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone on screen, and good evening to everyone in the chat. I hope everyone is well and geared up for Christmas.
Yeah.
I am absolutely knackered. I played football tonight, and I'm absolutely dead on my feet.
Oh, did you play today?
Well, that'll be good then, Jose, because the serotonin will be pulsing through your brain, and you'll come out with some good common sense as you always do.
Can you play on the right wing for Spurs at the weekend?
Yeah.
Well, I scored two tonight, and I got 3 assists. So
nice.
Well, let Frank know. You'll be right in, mate.
Yeah. How did the 6-year-olds take it, Jose? Were they pissed off or what?
6-year-olds. I've been hearing what you guys have been saying. The only thing I'm going to say, right? I have no expectations whatsoever. This is what the club has made me feel like. I have no expectations whatsoever. And therefore, at the end of the day, I made a comment and someone said to me, when I said that you've got to give the manager time, and that, regardless, all we ever do is rinse and repeat, and go through an awful cycle. And someone said to me, well, if we were now in 2025 and we'd had Christian Grossi as a manager for 28 years, how much are you prepared to give someone time? And I said, well, you're being silly, because I'm not talking Christian Gross. I'm talking in recent times. In recent times, you've got to give managers a chance. I see we've only got remnants left of the Poch era. We've only got Ben Davis left now, because Sonny's now left. So that will be the end of the Poch era. And then you've got to look at the next era after that. And some of the players we've got at the club have been brought in and have been with other managers and stuff, and at the end of the day, he's got to find his own way and its own way of navigating at Tottenham Hotspur. And it's like anybody. I mean, whether we like it or not, and this is whether we like it or not, we need to change. Our squad has to be changed. We need to change the play and the personnel. You need to change things in the background.
Yeah, I'm going to come to that, Jose. What I'll show to you is, I mean, I don't want him gone. I want him to stay at the end of the season, whatever happens, right? I don't want to go over rinse and repeat. I've said that. But he's had 15 league games, 6 Champion League games, that's 21 games, 2 League Cup games, 23 games without friendlies. I'm not seeing a pattern of play. I'm not seeing cohesion between the midfield and attack. Earlier on, we were more defensive in midfield. We stopped conceding goals. I'm not against the rotation. You've got to rotate. Even if you've got a core of players. I mean, like, I think Porro's superhuman, but games have taken a toll on him. He's gone off form. He played over 50, 60 games last year into this season. Decky was played for over 40 games as a workhorse, and he got injured as well. How Porro's not got injured, I think, is like miraculous. You know? But I would expect to see something after this amount of games, Jose, after 23 games, something that I can sort of like, where's the pattern? What's going on?
But the thing is, if you're talking about rotation, right, then you look no further than the fullbacks. The fullbacks, the only reason why the fullbacks have played so much is because the Doggy's been injured. And there's been no one to come in so Spence and Porro have been flogged. When a Doggy did come back, then you're then rotating one of the other two and then still playing one of the other two at right back. You know, and there's just not been enough rotation there. For me, I mean, I heard the interview that Mickey van der Ven had the other day on the overlap. Mickey van der Ven says his preferred position is left back. So rotate, play Mickey van der Ven at left back. Play Kevin Danso. If he's going to be the centre half of choice, play Kevin Danso beside Romero. Change things up. Don't, now that Doggy's injured again, don't flog Pedro Porro and Jed Spence again. Because that's what they're probably going to do. I'd give Mickey van der Ven a run out, let him have that left back. He says it's his best position. He even said in the interview, he said, I love playing on the left back because it means I can go up. I can go up the pitch with the ball. He's telling you the clues are there. For his national team, he plays left back. Okay, he can play centre half as well, but he's playing left back. So, the rotation's got to be there. But I still think, and I've been saying this for 2 years, so it's not something new. I still think our squad's not good enough. I don't think our players are good enough. But I said this for 2 years, and people laughed at me. People said, "Yeah, but you wouldn't take Nottingham Forest's team, would you?" I remember last season people saying to me, "Yeah, but you wouldn't take anyone from Forest, would you?" And I was like, "Well, Murillo at centre half and Milenkovic are playing absolutely. They've been playing better than our centre halves." And then you looked at their fullbacks that they were playing, and they were playing better than our fullbacks. And then I looked at their front three of Chris Wood, Alanga, and Hudson-Odoi, and I was like, "Well, Hudson-Odoi and Alanga are doing far more than our wide forwards, and Chris Wood has scored more than our centre forward." And people are then asking me these questions, and I'm like, at the end of the day, our squad still isn't good enough. It needs to be changed. And what we think we need to do as a club, or what I'd like to see done, is have a way of looking at things. Because at the moment we've now got Paratici looking at first team players, and then we've got Johan Langer looking at youth and youngsters, right? But to me, I don't think we're crying out for any more youngsters. I really don't. I think we need oven ready players to come into our squad and have our youngsters learn from the oven ready players. I just don't think we've got enough oven ready Premiership players, and I think that's what we need to get. We need to stop and think to ourselves, we're going to go down one route, and this is the route we're going to go down. If you want to pad up your team, or sorry, not your team, but if you want to pad up the youngsters and bring them in to put into your academy, right, because they're good players and stuff like that, we'll bring them in to put them into the academy. But don't go out buying youngsters that you think are going to sit on the periphery of the first team, because it's not what we need right now.
Well, Rob McKenzie and his recruitment team of 10, right, which we've got 5 scouts, 2 in this country in the UK. We've got one in Italy, 1 in Germany, and 1 in Portugal. They said at the beginning of the season, we're not looking to bring in youngsters. So if they do, they won't, not for the first team anyway. If there's an opportunity to bring in a starlet in that's just going to be banged in the under 21s or whatever, that could still happen because there's one kid I would really like to get. But yeah, James, I mean, do you think the squad is good enough? And on that, I want to ask you, double the question up. Want to know what your favourite system of play is?
On the squad, look, I've been a Brendan Johnson supporter because he's Welsh, but Harry Wilson is vastly superior to him in every footballing metric. And Harry Wilson actually speaks Welsh, so like skill issue. I mean, you look at the squad, right? Like on paper, yeah, a lot of good players. Bentaker after his ACL, he's not returned the same player. Sorry, he needs to go. Basuma's going to the African Cup of Nations. Well, he can stay in Africa. That sounded like a racial remark. That was my point. My point was he can go.
Sar's gone as well. Sar's gone as well.
You know what I mean? I want Sar to come back. Sar's fantastic. I love Sar. Archie great. I think there's a lot of what I would call good players who perhaps don't all fit, if that makes sense. Like, what is Sar? Is he a box-to-box player? He's not a destroyer. He's not a true six. He's not a creative midfielder. Like, he does a lot of stuff, but he doesn't fit one natural role in the same way that, like, Archie Gray doesn't. We have a lot of technically good players who perhaps need to be molded a bit more into one specific sort of role. And you look at other guys, like, obviously they're not fit, but you look at Kulusevski. Kulusevski is probably our best player, I think. He's world-class, I think. Ridiculously good. Romero, at times, can be one of the best centre-backs in the world. At other times, isn't. Van der Ven has incredible ability at times doesn't. Vicario, I haven't made my mind up on. Sometimes he makes world-class saves. Sometimes he makes howlers. He's bad with the ball at his feet. Look at Doggy, Porro's great going forward, poor defensively. Spence, the same. I think we have a lot of players who are kind of hot and cold at times. And maybe that's them. Maybe that's a manager. Maybe that's the culture. It's kind of hard to read into that. And you sort of look at... The team is better than what we're seeing at the moment, I think. I guess the other question is, like, there's a lack of joined-up thinking because you bring in managers who have different styles of play, different systems, and there's no route from the academy to the first team. You look at guys like Mikey Moore. He's playing brilliantly for Rangers. I mean, they are the fourth best team in Scotland at the moment, Hearts top of the league. But you just kind of look at Spurs losing 3-0 to Forest and go, well, couldn't Mikey Moore have had a go? And I'm not saying it was wrong for him to go on loan, but you look at that sort of disconnect in thinking, going from Ange to Frank. And then what is the realistic path for an academy player who shows great potential like Mikey Moore to get in the Spurs first team? There isn't one. There's no actual path. So then why do we spend all this money on a world-class training facility if there's no actual path for these players?
Just give us your favourite system of play before I move down.
Yeah. I mean,
are you 4-3-3? Are you 5 at the back? What are you?
Under Frank, I'd probably go 5-3-2. You get Porro as a right wing back because I think he's poor defensively, but he's very good going forward. You get Spencer Udogie on the left. Ideally, it would be 4-3-3, but you have to adapt those systems to your players' strengths, right?
Alan, what's your favourite system and of play?
I like a traditional 4-3-3.
Yeah.
I like the way it works. I think you learn it as a little one, and kind of I think a lot of people favor it, and it's just I just don't think we do that anymore, right? You don't see a lot of traditional 4-3-3, or do you?
Well, it's not static on the field, is it? The setup, but you get used to players' roles. You see them in a position, you think this is part of what's done on a training ground. This is 4-3-3. What's your favourite formation, Jose?
Have a guess. I'm old school, Adrian. Old.
Not 2-3-5. Don't tell me 2-3-5.
I'm 4-4-2, mate. Play with two strikers. Play 4-4-2. Get people into your team that can play centre midfield and hold the middle. Bring people in your team that can get the ball out wide and actually cross the ball in, and feed the two players that you've got up front. Now, whether you've got I don't know, I hate all the numbering, but whether you play a 9 and a 10 together up front, however you do it, I'm 4-4-2. I'm old school, and I think
Right.
I've been saying for years, and I'll continue saying it until you've got Pep Guardiola is one of the best masterminds in the whole of the world. And Pep Guardiola's changed football in Barcelona. He changed it at Bayern. He's changed it when he got to Man City. Everybody tries to copy what Guardiola does. So when you go to football now, King Hoddle, I think, made a comment earlier. When you go to football now, and you guys have followed football for for different amounts of years, but you've seen football, and all you see now is people all play the same way. There's no different way of playing. Everyone plays the same. I was fortunate enough at my age to see a lot of maverick players, both for Tottenham and for other clubs. And these maverick players were the ones that made football. You don't have maverick players anymore. I was going through looking the other day, and I was going back to the 1990s. In the 1990s, you had probably you could look at 50 world-class number 9s back in the 90s. There were so many great number 9s, and unfortunately, a lot of these great number 9s went and played in Italy. Italy had a dearth of them playing out there because that's where all the money was at the time, And you had some really, really good midfielders. You had maverick players. I mean, the last maverick player that we had Ginola, but before Ginola, the last maverick we had before that was Gascoigne, and Gascoigne went and was a maverick every club that he was at, So, I mean, I look at nowadays, and I look at bloody Man City when they bought Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish was a maverick player at Aston Villa. Got taken to Man City, was told to play a certain way and in a certain system. The maverick's gone out of the window. Jack Grealish is now shunned upon and being loaned out by the club. Goes to Everton, and at Everton he's allowed to do this. He's allowed to be a maverick again, and then he looks himself again. Football is absolutely boring.
I've got a question to ask you, actually.
I want to move on. Keep the question, because I want to talk about these formations, because I'm 4-4-3-3. But David Clark mentioned this about playing with a diamond formation a while back. I didn't see it, David, but because I was thinking about that. Now, when people say our squad isn't good enough, I get we need more upgrades and more quality, but I still think you can get a better tune out of this squad under a different system of play. And I mentioned it during the week, actually, on Tuesday's show, about a diamond formation. And the reason I mentioned it, because at the moment, we haven't got an out-and-out left winger that's oven ready. We've got I like Odegaard, I like Tell. I know Richie can do a job there, but I'm not a fan of Richarlison, even though he's having his best season at Spurs, unless he keeps it going all season for some reason. I'm not a fan of wanting him gone. I want Basuma gone. How you can bring Davies on a substitute who's not going to have a future at this club at the end of the season, I don't know. And Paulina. So I don't know what Frank was doing there, right? I think he'd give it. I hope he just didn't give up the ghost, because if he did, that is really bad. That is really bad. That's a nail in a coffin if he did that. But we won't know what was actually in his mind. Now, I'm thinking, like, when you got Paulina and Bentancur, and my gut feeling says we're not going to keep Paulina at the end of the season. We're not going to take it up, because Bentancur signed that contract. And if we can get a better tune out of Bentancur, which we should be getting, right, then that'll be a good thing, because he was superb before the ACL injury. Well, I'm going to go about a diamond formation, Fitz, for those who may not have seen it when Spurs have played it in the past. It's 4-1-3-1-2. Now, I'd like to keep Paulina if we're going to go that way, because I think Paulina could sit there and you could rotate him with Bentancur. Then in midfield, you could go Bergvall on the left, Sarr in the middle when he's not away at the Afro Nations Cup, and Gray on the right. And that would give us the legs in the midfield we're missing, because Bentancur and Paulina haven't got the legs to cover all the ground in midfield. They go up for set pieces. All teams do that with their players, but they haven't got the legs. Then you could play Xavi in front of them with Kudus and Moani as a front two. Now, when you rotate, you could, even if Johnson stays, you could have Johnson there where he should be playing as inside right along a striker, whether it's alongside Moani, whatever. And you could possibly get an even better tune out of Johnson playing in that position. And I think with the squad we've got, a diamond midfield would work for us. Most games are won and lost in midfield, and we're losing the midfield battle. And if you lose that, unless you're lucky with long ball football, you're going to struggle to win games. You could get lucky and scrape through them under a lot of pressure. You're going to be lucky to win games. And what I've seen us crumble in midfield. And there's no link play between the midfield and the forwards. But within 3 and 3 in midfield, you would have that with Xavi in front of them and then 2 in the front. And I just think a diamond midfield will work. Jose?
To me, right, systems and things only work if you've got players that can adapt or you've got the right cogs, right? And for me, I think that the players that we've got from midfield are too samey. So you look at Paulinho and Bentancur, same players. Then you start looking at the rest of your midfielders, and I think they're all samey. I think Gray, Bergvals, Bissoumas, they all offer the same thing. To me, I don't think we've got any, as they call them nowadays, eights. We haven't got progressive carrying ball players, good progressive carrying ball players that you have at other Premiership clubs. I think the indictment is, it's an easy one, right? Take your rose-tinted glasses off and just ask yourself the question, right? Go through each player in our squad or team, however you want to look at it, and say, would he get into any of the top 5 or 7 teams in the country? And that tells you where we are. So to me, it doesn't matter about systems or anything at all. If the players ain't good enough and they haven't got the aptitude to change or to take instruction, then I don't think it matters what system we play.
Okay. Alan, would you think a diamond? I mean, what sort of formation do you think we could get a better tune out of these players?
I think I agree with Jose. I don't think it's about formation so much. I think it's about just the style of play and the players that he has at hand. I'll reiterate, I don't think we have enough depth on our bench. It's difficult to rotate. The players that he doesn't seem to rotate all that much are getting tired. We need better players before I think we worry even about shape.
James, do you think a diamond midfield would work, or do you think like Alan and Jose wouldn't make any difference with the squad we've got? We're just going to be a mid-table stuttering team.
I mean, it kind of depends who we're playing tactically, right? I think the trouble is, like, the underlying issues are, I don't think our fullback's good enough defensively. I think our midfield has too many of the same player. I can certainly see the benefits in the sense that we would be able to, if you had like Paulinho, maybe Bentancur, although I think Bentancur needs to go. He's not the player he was. Sarr and Bergvall, those players kind of make up for each other's deficiencies. So I can certainly see the logic. And I think we would be a lot better in possession, for sure. And our midfield would be a lot more stable. But I think, I don't know, compare it to Pochettino. Pochettino had, Wanyama and Dembele. Do we have a player that remotely resembles Dembele? No. We haven't got anyone in the midfield who can, take the ball and go forward. Bentancur could before his ACL. Haven't seen that Bentancur. I don't know if it's his twin brother or something, but he's not the same player he was. Maybe that's confidence. Maybe that's the injury. Who knows? But he's not been that same player since. Moussa Sissoko was closer to Dembele than recent Bentancur was, right? And just sort of look at the fact that we have too many midfielders to do the same thing. I think Saul's a good player. I think Bergwall's a good player. I think Gray's a good player. I think Paulinho is a good player. Yet I don't see them being good players all the time, if that makes sense, weirdly.
Yeah, I still think, well, this is down to Frank. I think he should still be getting, he's a coach. Like VDV was saying on his interview, how much in depth he goes on with tactics and all that. So obviously the players are not taking it on board, or you get a situation where, funnily, they're all off form in that game against Forest, which I think has got to be. Did we play worse this season than against Forest? I don't think so. Or we must have been comparable with other games that we lost. But that to completely not turn up, surely, Alan, the players have to take some responsibility for that, because even if the tactics and game plan is crap, you're still footballers on a pitch. Surely you've got to do better than that. You've got to do better than that. So I'm not having Frank take all the rap for that.
No, you can't. If anyone who watched the game would have seen that there was no fire, there was no spirit, there was no passion in the way that our players were playing from start to finish. And that's what makes it so difficult to watch, because these passes are like half-hearted, go nowhere passes. We, cheaply letting the ball go to the other team. Or hogging the ball. Mohamed Kudus, I have the highest respect for, but he holds the ball too long, or maybe he feels like he doesn't have another outlet. I don't know, but I think he is holding the ball too long, loses the ball. We just look clueless, and that's frustrating as a fan. I think that's why fans are so frustrated. It'd be one thing if we were trying and not winning, but we put in 100%, but we're not putting in 100%, and it just looks like we're getting worse and worse each week. Forget consistency. I would rather, can we just at some point just string together some more wins and fewer losses and ties or draws, and I would be a happier fan. But I'm not a happy fan when we're playing the way we're playing under Thomas Frank at the moment.
Jose, Alan makes a good point. I want to mention this point because when I've looked at coaching videos and all this, it's all about overloads in your third, the middle third, the final third. We're not even seeing the overloads, are we? And if you've got a right-footed player playing at left back like Spence, I like Spence as a player, which is fine against an inverted winger like Salah when he had a great game against him at home, right? But the point is, going forward, he'll cut in. Where's the overload with the left winger? And as Alan alluded to with Kudus, where's the overload on the right when Kudus keeps coming back? We're not seeing the overloads down to the corner flag, are we?
We did against Brentford, Adrian, because as soon as the Brentford game had finished, I turned around and said, it's the first time I've seen it at the stadium, because where I normally sit with the seats that I normally select for myself are always where I can see the length of the pitch and that, if possible. So my gripe about more so about Spence than Porro was that when he's playing left back, Jed, he gets the ball and he does the same thing all the time. He does cut inside. He doesn't go beyond, and it then stutters our build-up play. However, against Brentford, Adrian, I saw him going past Moani. Moani played out on the left, so he was going past Moani. I also saw Pedro Porro going past Kudus, and what Kudus then did is Kudus then come inside. When the overlaps are going on, Kudus was coming inside and making a second striker for Richie, and Moani was doing the same. When Spence was overlapping, Moani was coming in and playing second striker to Richarlison as well. So the thing is, it's weird because, I mean, I don't know. Every human being has a different makeup, right? But can it always be that 11 people's makeup is all wrong on the same day? Because the way that we played against Brentford, was one way, and then when I saw us play against Forest, we were passing ships in the night again. But it's not the first time Tottenham have been like that. We've probably Chelsea. When Chelsea was an abysmal game, it wasn't as bad as Forest. Chelsea was worse, and we only lost 1-0, and we got beaten by our own stupidity in that game. But they absolutely murdered us. They didn't even have to get out of second gear to beat us. When I watched us playing with play Arsenal didn't get out of second gear when they beat us in the North London derby. And there are some games that I'm thinking to myself, come on, this can't be the same thing over the time. It can't be. It happened with Ange. It's happened now with Thomas Frank. We had games like that under Conte, far and few between, but we had games like that under Conte. We had games like that under Jose Mourinho. We've had games under all our managers where you think to yourself, do these players even know each other? I mean, and I might be a bit, I've always been a bit of one of those that, right, I play football, right? So if someone says to me, Jose, would you play at right back tonight? I say, yeah, sure, I'll play right back. Right. If the following week they say to me, Jose, can you play left midfield? I'll say, yeah, I'll play left midfield. And I know what I'm doing. I know I'm going from one position to another. I know I'm doing. So I can't understand how these players get paid so much money. And they only kick with one foot, by the way. A lot of these players are not two-footed. They only kick with one foot, and some of them really poorly with that one foot. And they're getting paid 100 grand a week and all that, and they just can't. Being asked a simple thing to do, they just can't take that on board and can't do it. It's beyond me, guys. It really is. But I still support my team.
I'm with you 100% because I play football and I have somewhere, I think it's in my grandparents' house, I have a trophy that says that I played 9 seasons with the same football club from when I was like 5 to like 16 or whatever it was. I can't remember. But, I played up front, I played out wide, I played in goal, and I played at centre back. And obviously, it's Sunday League youth football, right? It's not El Clasico. But when I played at centre back, I knew what my job was, which was stop them from scoring. If you get the ball, if you can't pass it out, clear it. If you're up front, take a shot or pass it to someone who can. If you're out wide, try and run with it. And it's like, well, a 12-year-old me could figure that out, yet professional football players can't. I get it's different. I get there's pressure. I get all that jazz. But, like, football's a really simple game when you boil it down. And these guys can't take that on board. Are they really good football players then? I mean, maybe I should, show up, at the training ground. I reckon I could do a decent job up front. I'll get my head in it at least,
So for my sins, Adrian, let me say, from sending you the message and before coming on, in between that time, I've just bought myself a Villa ticket for the FA Cup. So that shows you.
30 quid.
That shows you.
They said they were going for 30 quid.
Yeah, 30 quid. And do you know where I am? I'm in row 1 in the south stand.
Ooh, nice.
I've gone row 1, so I'm right in front of the goal.
A little tip: don't let me hope the club aren't listening, right? When I was first having my season ticket, I've got mates in the south, or know people in the south stand. Right, when you go and you know that it's not going to be a full house, although Villa have took up their 15% allocation of 9k, they're bringing 9,000, right, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
Instead of 3,000, you get a percentage in the FA Cup, so they're bringing 9,000. They sold them all in one day, right, in their club. They're great fans up Villa, like a good club, great football club as well. Right? When you get there, Jose, just go up higher where you'd like to really sit. Go through past the yellow coats, like and then just find a seat.
No, I picked my seat on purpose in row 1 because I wanted to be right down near the touchline because you will fucking hear what I've got to say, players. I'm telling you, I don't want to be up in the moon. I don't want to be up in the moon where I can't tell the players what I think. So I will be down in row 1 because that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to get a ticket where I can be right at the front, so you're going to hear me screaming. And they will know that I'm there watching.
Right, I'm just going to plug the channel and then I'm coming to Alan, right? Look, we got 60 of you viewing us on various platforms, which is fantastic on a Friday night. You should all be out on the lash. In London, it's traditional to get drunk and talk bollocks on a Friday night. So it's great to have your support. If you like the content and the show and the tone of the show today, please hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. We can't see it, but you can. And give the video a thumbs up because it helps the algorithm. We are a fledgling show, but we are growing. We have been complimented, and we did even win 2 silly awards, believe it or not. So that takes some doing. So, Alan, are we cursed or something? Last year, it was centre backs that were out and goalkeeper.
Sorry, can I just say, Sonny's in the comments, right? Sonny, yeah, the Villa game is 30 quid. And for youngsters, I think it's under 16s, it's a tenner. But all tickets at the moment, 30 quid, and they go on general release on Monday the 22nd, so next Monday. Yeah. So if you're a member, you can buy them now. They were released today.
They charged me 70 quid for Slava Prague as a season ticket holder, so I'm hoping that Dortmund, that's the last game at home.
Dortmund's 30 quid, isn't it?
I don't know what Dortmund is at home now.
I thought Dortmund was 30 quid as well, mate.
Well, it should be, if they want to fill the stadium and create an atmosphere.
That's just ludicrous.
Yeah. So, Alan, we're missing our centre-backs last year, and it was a big blow to lose key centre-backs, to lose both of them, because they are a hardcore backs, really, centre-backs. And yet this year, we lose the front 4, if you include Son, because you've lost Solanke, Maddison, and Kulusevski. Now, I think we can say without being delusional that we'd have picked up more points if those three had been fit, right? Do you think Frank has been a little bit unlucky or not?
I mean, it's what you do with what you've got, and I think ultimately,
job, you're right. He took the job.
Yeah, he took the job, and I think he's not getting the tune out of the band that he has at the moment. He's just not. And I don't know if getting James Maddison back and Kulusevski, I don't know if Thomas Frank is the person yet to get a tune out of everybody together. I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just not seeing all of the benefits at the moment. Maybe there's a lot of groundwork being done in the background that I don't know about. It's not glamorous, but it's work that has to get done. But I just think that Thomas Frank, I don't know if it's worth it to give him another couple of windows or not, because I just don't know if he's the man that's going to be able to string together enough wins.
Mm-hmm.
We were this way with Ange last season. I just don't want to repeat last season. I think other than the win of the cup, but it was such a lucky set of events. I mean, so much went into that. It wasn't just a straight, we were awesome and kicked ass during the tournament. We didn't kick ass during the tournament, but we did win. We found a way to win. Nowadays, I don't feel like we have that inner strength to find a way to win. We lack that passion, and I don't know if that's coming from Thomas Frank or not.
We've shown great resilience in some of these games to come away with draws and things like that. But Nita, on your point, they wouldn't allow tickets for Slavia Prague because they were frightened. They didn't want Slavia Prague fans getting in amongst Spurs fans. That's why. But for Villa, if they're on guest sale, you should be able to get a ticket through another member or whatever. You'd have to inquire. Jose, do you know about this than I do?
So today it was season ticket holders release. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get season ticket holders to come and pile the south stand. So any season ticket holder, if you wanted to take a seat in the south stand, the offers came out today. So that's why I'm in the south stand for that game. It goes out in general release to members on Monday the 22nd. Right, and then I think it goes down to, so Member Plus is on Monday, and then I think members and thereafter general release I think is on Tuesday the 23rd.
And if it works the way it did with me before, it got all complicated where you can only buy tickets for other members, whatever. When they went guest sale before, I remember buying 5 tickets for. When general sale, and you could buy 5 tickets for, this is going back a season or 2 now, and I was getting people in Edmonton that couldn't afford to go and getting them tickets because they were 25 quid then for cup games, right? So,
so what you do, or the way around it, so I've been told, is that if you're buying a ticket for someone and they're not a member, then you buy a ticket and you pass it on, but you screenshot it, you screenshot the QR code. Obviously, you make sure you get paid for the ticket first, and then screenshot the QR code, and then that will get you into the stadium and that.
Yeah, that'll scan you through.
Just a couple of promotions here. Get over to Hotel Cockerel, and that was your one up there, yeah. Where is that one? Get over to Hotel Cockerel. Great content over there. He does prediction leagues. All good stuff like that. Got a good following and support. Get over there and subscribe to him. And again, I'm remiss here because I should have got this up for Alan. Subscribe to Alan at Team Tottenham Go as well. Get over there. Right. So, yeah.
I mean, when the Villa game, especially in the FA Cup, it's not what you'd call a big game, other than the fact we're playing another Premier League side. It's on Saturday, January the 10th. Yeah, I think so, yeah. Imagine the goodwill the club would make from all fans if they said, tickets for that game, tenner. for the sake of the loss of what, 100 grand of revenue, maybe not even that, you'd pack the stadium and you buy yourself a lot of goodwill because it's January. Everyone's a bit skint because of Christmas. You'd get all the fans coming in because it's a cheap ticket. I don't know why we don't do things like this. I don't have a degree in business. Maybe I'm missing something, but to me, it seems like a no-brainer.
It is. And Levy got greedy, I think, because it was only the season before last that your cup tickets were 25 quid. Yeah. Right. This year they put them up even for the League Cup. So, and really like squeezing this. And clubs they've got to realise as well, unless they know the demographics of all our support, people have to travel to come into London for a game midweek, usually midweek games, and the infrastructure and the bus and rail system. I mean, half the time it's not working and stations are closed or there ain't running enough trains and things like that, which is disgraceful, right? And people have got to go to work next day. They need some incentive to come to the ground. And at this time of year, it's coming up to Christmas. People spend money on presents, stuff like that. They've got a lot of expense this time of year. So, I mean, the club need to wake up. But I think with Vinay there, Venkatesham, there now, I think we'll see a change. I mean, we're seeing scarves given away, away at Forest and things like that. Yeah. So we're seeing some positives, but what we want to see is a lot more positives with the team. Let's move on to Liverpool at home. There's no Saran Basuma for this game. I want Miss Basuma. I'm glad he's gone. I've got no sympathy for him at all. And it's funny how these players, they come out with some excuse after they've sinned, hoping to be forgiven all the time. But this isn't the first time he does it. And I know I live in a poor area of London, and I know more deserving people that haven't got the wealth players have got, to pay for help. I've got no sympathy for Basuma. He's just not dedicated. He's not shown it. It's not just 2 incidents with laughing gas, none. The sooner he's out of my club, the better, because this is part of the culture when we allow this and we forgive too easily. Get him gone. I mean, even Don Belly should have been kicked out earlier, than he was allowed to stay. They just come and stealing a living, basically. Sarr, I love the player. I think he's got a great future. But, So, Alan, no Basuma or Sarr. Predicted lineup. I mean, most of the team's going to pick itself, but
yeah, most of the team will pick itself.
Let's just start with goalkeeper and centre backs, and we do full backs, then we do midfield, then we do forward three, right? So and I'll get the others to follow.
Who I guess we put in Vicario, in goal, and in the back we have the same, I guess he could change it up. Look, he could change things up and put Van de Ven in his preferred left back position. And then you could play Danzo and Romero in the middle. And then you have Spence on the right. I think that's how I would go for a back four.
Jose? Back four. Goalkeeper.
I'll start with the goalkeeper. I would give Kinski a run out. For me, and I've been saying it for the last 2 years as well, I remember when we lost out on David Raya and people, because we wouldn't pay 40 million for him, and Arsenal took him on loan and then paid the following season 27 mil for him. And I remember saying at the time, people were saying, with the Y Scout, the spider web and all that they do, they were saying these two players are so closely matched. In Vicario and Raya, their stats are more or less the same. They play with their feet. Anyway, all that. And I turned around and said at the time, I would much rather go for Raya because he's played in the Premiership and I've seen what he's done. I haven't seen what this goalkeeper from Italy has done, so I want Raya. And for all I heard people saying, no, we've got the better deal. We've bought him for, 16 million or whatever we paid for him. And he's cheaper version, but he's going to be much better. Listen, when I watch Vicario play on telly, I hide behind the sofa. When I'm at the stadium, I just say no because I don't know what he's going to, he's like a cat on a hot tin roof. He's so uncomfortable. His body, his mannerisms, he's so uncomfortable with the ball at his feet. For me, his decision-making is absolutely piss poor. For someone that can see the whole pitch and scan, I think it's piss poor what he does. Yes, the players want the ball. Yes, the players call for the ball. But when you see someone's right up your ass, why give him the ball? And at the end of the day, yes, he does make some good saves. But I say to people, last year we finished 17th in the league. How many good saves did he make? We finished 17th. If you made good saves and you saved us points, we would have been further up that league. And this year again, I leave it to yourselves. You've got your own eyes. I'd leave it to yourselves. How many errors has he made this season for goals that he should have stopped? And it's quite a few. I'd give Kinski a chance. I think also Vicario, there's a bit of about him at the moment that it looks like he would like to go back to Italy. Now, if that's the case, mate, take him out of the team. Give the young boy, the young Czech lad, a run out. Let's see what he's made of. You can't give him one game here and one game there. Give the Czech boy a run out. And if your goalkeeper is a weak position for you, then go out and buy a goalkeeper. Don't buy number 2s and number 3s and start saying, I'm going to buy someone that may have that may come good in 5 years' time. We need someone good as from now. In the defence, I would probably start tomorrow with Jed Spence at right back, because they play 4-3-3 Liverpool, and they're 2 wide players. I'm glad Cody Gakpo's not playing, because he would have rinsed Porro. But I would have played Spence at right back. I would play Mickey van der Ven at left back, and I'd start with Kevin Danso and Christian Romero. Shake it up. You can't keep picking the same defense and the same tactics week in, week out. It's not working. We need to change something up. I would change it. I'd start sooner rather than later and start changing things up.
James, your back 5?
Yeah, I'm going to profoundly disagree with a large quantity of.
You're allowed to. You're allowed to. Cool.
We wouldn't have won the Europa League final without Vicario's saves. He made more than one match-winning save. Expected goal-wise, Vicario is positive, I think, 6 goals. He's won us points this season. He has had howlers, and yeah, he is horrendous with his distribution. And Kinski's brilliant with the ball at his feet. Maybe he should just be a midfielder. I don't know. But I think Vicario's done more for us than he's hurt us, if that makes sense. I understand the frustration, but when you look at the whole picture, I think Vicario's done a lot for us. And, I mean, who wouldn't want to live in Naples? I'd live in Naples over London. Who wouldn't? Not to say you're wrong. I think it's okay to be frustrated with him. I'd go Vicario. For me, it'd be Vicario, Romero, Davies, and Danzo. Then Porro and Spence as wingbacks.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think Vicario keeps his spot. If we see Kinski, probably against Villa in the Cup, he can redeem the error he made at Villa when he let the ball slip through his hands in the Cup last year. And I think it'll be the same back 4. I think you'll find Spence on the left, Porro on the right, with Vidivi and Romero. Okay. Midfield, Jose, your 3?
You could, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be brutally honest. You could put all the names into a hat, right, and pick them out of a hat to have your 3, because that's how
you
shit.
haven't got Sarr here, so you haven't got the greatest selection. Sarr's
well, you have, because Sarr for me, and I know you like him, Adrian, but I think Sarr's dog poo, and I've done for years.
Okay.
I've always said that I don't rate Sarr at all. So for me, yeah, pick out from a hat any 3 names. That'll be your midfield, because I don't think our players are good enough anyway. So pick who you want.
Alan, a midfield 3 for you?
I think I would play Bergfall. He's quick and he's very physical, and I think we need to bully Liverpool with big players like that. Their defense has not been that great, but they're big guys in the back. Konate and Van Dijk, they have a lot of physicality about them and in their midfield. So I would play Bergfall. I would play Xavi, because we paid a lot of money for a player that we hope gets better. And I guess the more time he has, the better I think he has played. And I think in general, we play better when he's on the side than on the bench. And gosh, a third one, probably Paulinho.
Okay. James, you're free of midfield?
Pick a card, any card.
Okay. You'll be
Okay,
like that.
right. No. Right, okay. Here are the cards. The Harry Potter Uno cards, but it illustrates the joke I'm making. Right. Here's the card. You can't see it. Okay. The joke I'm making is it's going to be like Paulinho. Probably what? Paulinho, Bergvall, or Bentancur, Bergvall, and Simmons. That's what it's going to be. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. It's not what I would pick, but that's what it's going to be. So I guess endure it, right?
I think Frank adopt his cautious approach and play Bentancur, Paulinho, and Simmons. But I would actually play Bentancur, Bergvall, and Simmons. I'd be a bit more attack minded. That would be me. So,
but do you not think with Bergvall, right? He don't retain the ball. He loses the ball far too often.
Oh,
he's
totally.
He's not a ball retainer.
Every other game he's good with it, and and then like Ian Myth always says, when Bergvall plays well, we play well. When he doesn't, the thing is, this is where Frank should show his managerial skill. If the player you picked isn't doing well, then hook him. Because we got subs. If they're all the same, these midfielders, then hook him for someone else, another samey player who might be better on the day. Then hook him.
If you replace Bentancur with Moussa Dembele, we would be top 4.
Look, if we got Bentancur pre-ACL, was good, and he has shown good quality. He was given a contract because he'd shown good form, and the club wanted to keep him. So, and I thought he was good in a lot of them games. You know, and he was good defensive, even away in Europe when even Bergvall was beside him helping out. So, yeah, I mean, but we just know Frank's going to go Bentancur and Paulinho tomorrow. It's just and he might not even start with Xavi if he's really that worried about it. He'll put Gray in there or Bergvall in there with them, you know. But that's what I would do. So. We'll see. I'm going to the game. You're going, Jose, as well, aren't you?
No, it was one of the ones I couldn't get a ticket for initially when it went out on sale. But then they're everywhere. You can get tickets to Liverpool game. People are trying to give their tickets away, and I just thought to myself, do you know what? After last week, I just thought it's a Saturday night kickoff, 5:30 in the evening. It's the last Saturday before Christmas, and I just thought, nah, do you know what? I'll get some other stuff done with the family rather than that. Tomorrow, I'm going to cook a roast. Yeah. I'm cooking a roast dinner tomorrow for the family. Nice. I'm doing a leg of lamb, and then I've got a top side of beef that I'm doing as well. And then I will make it all prepared for just before the football starts. Have me roast dinner, watch the football in a nice warm home tomorrow.
And then
very nice.
Probably.
My next game is I'll be at Sunderland, West Ham, and then my season ticket. I'm going Sunderland, Aston Villa, FA Cup, West Ham, and then from Man City onwards is when my season ticket kicks in.
I'll see you at those games, Jose. You know where we are before.
Yeah.
We've got a meeting place in the fan zone, and we've got a meeting place under the stairs at the end of the game. Depending if people have to get away quickly, obviously no one meets under the stairs. Especially if it's a night game, I understand that they've got to get home and get to work and whatever. Yeah. So. We got 50 of you watching us on various platforms. If you like the content of the show, please hit that subscribe button down the bottom. We even do memberships if you want. It's only £2 a month. We don't do any other memberships. We're not here to rip people off. So we do memberships if you want to become a member and support the channel. That's great. But if not, subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up because it helps us a lot. And we do all this for free, of course. And there's a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes on these shows. So. Front free, James. Come on, you're front free.
So up front, I put myself personally.
Okay.
We'll let George on the left wing. No, joke aside. No, I think so. You got Colin Wani, Richie. I guess it depends on whether you play Bergvall as the 8 or if you play him a bit deeper. I think you could get away with Paulinho, then Bergvall as the pivot, then put Xavi on the left, then Richie up front. Then could you play Colo on the right or Brennan? Yeah, I think you get away with both those. I think
Muani's played on the okay. A little help out. Muani's played on the left before, and he can play on the left. And Richarlison does like a goal against Liverpool, ex-Everton, blah blah.
I think Richie definitely starts. Say what you like about him, but he's going to be up for it against Liverpool. He starts up front. I think, weirdly, because I think we'll be quite counter-attacking, Brennan's not a bad shout. And I think that Colo is the right guy for it. He's physical. He's good in the air. He can hold the ball up reasonably well. I'd go Muani, Richie,
and he's took the Phantom of the Opera mask off now.
Yeah, Muani, and I think Richie's a no-brainer. I mean, he's going to be really up for that. And I'd love it if Richie scored a late goal and won it for us. I'd be really happy for him.
I don't care who scores if we win. Right.
Yeah.
Alan, you're front three. You're front three.
Wow. I guess it would be maybe Richie on the left, Wani in the middle, and I guess Kudu's on the right. Yeah. I mean, unless he wants to, I don't know what Odebear and Tell have done in practice to not get much of a sniff, but because there was a period of time, there's a period of time Odebear we were like thinking he was going to be a regular starter, but then Destiny got injured, and then that was his way of getting fed, and now it's like he's relegated to the bench.
Richarlison would at least block up the left-hand side and track back. Jose, your front three.
We haven't got slim pickings in it. However you look at it, slim pickings. Kudos is first player on my team sheet. So I'd have Kudos. I'd rather see Muani down the middle than Richarlison. I think Muani offers a hell of a lot more than Richarlison. I think Richarlison, from going to the matches, I don't know what it looks like on telly, but going to the matches, Richarlison looks like he spends more time looking at the player before the ball gets to him to try and do the player and forgetting that the ball's coming to you, to control it, to trap it. I think he's more worried about doing the player. So for me, I'd probably start. I'd like to see Kudos, probably Muani in the middle, and I would start with Matthias Tell on the left-hand side. I've seen glimpses of Matthias Tell this year, and for me, Matthias Tell to me gets it. He gets what it is to be at the club. He wants to impress. He wants to carve out, a career in football, but he wants to do it at our club. And when he comes on to play, he is so up for it. The player runs everywhere. He tackles. He does everything. And I just think that at the end of the day, we don't give. He doesn't. I think, but people within the fan base, he's much maligned, and I don't think people can see beyond, because Matthias Tell has been bought in, and Matthias Tell is not Harry Kane. When you go to Bayern Munich to buy a player, you didn't bring Harry Kane back, did you? You bought Matthias Tell. So at the end of the day, I think people need to look away from that. Give the kid a chance, man. I think he gets it, and he would offer a lot more. And he would try. He would play for that shirt, which is something, Adrian, that you say.
Oh, he's got a great attitude. He's got a great attitude.
But it's something you always talk about, Adrian. You always talk about people playing with a shirt, don't you? So
I just don't see Richarlison being left out the side. I mean, he's in the best form he's been for his club. He's taken over 25 games or something. He scored in all competitions about 17 goals or something ridiculous. So you'd have to go and look that stat up to believe it and stare at it constantly to convince yourself that it was true. I mean, he's not a player I want to see at the club. I'm not going to. I'll always support players while they're there and the manager, but he's one I got rid of. I'd like to see him gone, but he's in that good form that I don't think, and also think Frank being conservative, he's going to play him.
And I think. Oh, sorry, Adrian.
Muani and Kudos definitely start for me, and Richarlison, and I think because he's the battering ram, Moani will be on the left, and I think Richie will play through the middle. James, go on. You were going to say something.
Yeah, no, sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. No, I think especially Liverpool, that's one of the games Richie's always, really up for, regardless of his form. And you think, well, it's going to potentially be a scrappy game. And Richie, if nothing else, he does work hard. He does fight for the ball. He's decent in the air. And I think, was it last season or the season before where we lost 4-3 to Liverpool away and he took his shirt off? I mean, it means a lot to him, right? He played for Everton. That's a game he wants to get a goal in. He wants to be involved in. So, I think regardless of form, he's starting, but he's in good form. He's playing decently at the moment. I think maybe you go with both of them and have that sort of double threat, in the box. They're nuisances, him and Colin Moani, and you just sort of battle.
Right, we'll do the.
I think tomorrow, right? I think Virgil van Dijk with a bathrobe, his slippers, and a cigar in his mouth will have Richie in his fucking pocket. Honestly, because that's how poor Richie is as a player. I think that Virgil van Dijk will be easy street and have such an easy game. I really, really hope, guys. I really, really hope that I'm wrong, but I can't see any other outcome. Van Dijk against Richarlison. All
right, we're going to go. We do the predicted score, and we finish on the fixtures that are coming up to the end of January. Okay. So James, score tomorrow.
2-2. 2-2.
Alan, score.
That's what I was going. I think we can score a couple, and I think they will probably score a couple.
They're one of the highest scoring games in our league. I mean, they have on the head-to-head throughout all their history, they've won twice as many games as we have against them, right? So, but that means nothing on the day, because otherwise, why do we beat them a third of the fixtures? You know what I mean, or half the fixtures, right? Score, Jose.
Only because I love my team so much. I can never, ever back my team to lose. Never. We could be playing PSG. We could be playing Real Madrid, your Barcelona's. I don't care who we play. I never, ever back my team to lose. So tomorrow, I'm going Tottenham 2, Liverpool 0.
I'm going Tottenham 2, Liverpool 1. Now, these are our fixtures coming up, right?
Hold on, what about Alan?
Alan, he said 2-2. He said 2-2.
James and Alan both said 2-2 draws, yeah?
Yeah,
okay. He's a man of great knowledge.
Stevie Silver's favourite prediction normally. Right, let's frighten you all to death. Some fans who like to be frightened to death. After Liverpool, we've got Palace away. So they're two tough games. Palace are having a really good season. Then we got Brentford away. We all seem to get something at Brentford, a draw or a win. Won there last year. I remember we drew, I think, the first game.
The first game of the season the year before.
Vicario was as nervous as crap in that game as well. Yeah. But at least he threw the ball to the halfway line in that game. Why don't he do that more often? Right. Might be better than his kicking. Right. Then we got Sunderland at home. Sunderland having a very good season, but we're at home. Sunday, 4th of January, we got Bournemouth away. And then we get Villa at home. Jose's got his ticket in the FA Cup. Then we got West Ham at home. Then Saturday, the 7th of January, we got Dortmund at home. And we're going to be really going strong for that. We virtually only need a point to just qualify for the playoffs, but a win will clinch playoff places. And top 8 may go to the Frankfurt away game. Tuesday, then we got Burnley away, which holds no fears at all. And Saturday the 24th, we got Frankfurt away.
No, Wednesday the 28th, Frankfurt.
28th, sorry, I've got Wednesday the 28th, Frankfurt away, right? Frankfurt away. So, of course, by then, James, I mean, we'd have brought in 2 world-class players in the window. We got them in on the first week in January. And we're going to get, 8 games? We're going to get 24 points or whatever and win the cup games, yeah?
Well, you see, I've been in talks with Thomas Frank.
How many points do you think, without upgrades, how many points do you think we're getting from these games?
So let's just run through these quick fire. Palace away, point, I think. Brentford away, they're not very good. I think we'll get 3 points. That's 4. Sunderland, a point's a good result, I think. So 5. Bournemouth away. I'm going to say maybe a point. I'm not super optimistic about that. Villa Cup game. I think we should just about do enough to get through there. West Ham, 3 points. West Ham are really bad. One of my best mates is a West Ham fan. They're horrendous. Dortmund, Champions League, they're not all that great. But again, like a point there's a good result for us, I think, actually. Burnley, they're nothing special. I think we can win that. And then Frankfurt away, that's a tricky draw, but I think we can get a result at the very least. I mean, we've got a point under Ange. I think we can get a point now. So 12 in the league. I think we'll go through in the FA Cup and 4 points in the Champions League.
Alan?
Yeah, I'm doing the math. I think we'll get a result against Brentford. When I say result, I think we'll win against Brentford. I think there will be a result, maybe a draw against Crystal Palace. Sunderland, I don't know. Sunderland is pretty good, and they've surprised a lot of teams. I don't remember all the other. I think there was it Villa next
in the FA Cup.
In the FA Cup,
at home,
and then who was after? Was it
Sunderland before Villa?
Yep, Sunderland before. There it is.
To Sunderland. Yeah.
Bournemouth. That's right. I think we're going to beat Bournemouth. I think by that point Semenya won't even be playing for them because he will have been pulled because he will most likely be on his way to another club. Yeah,
I like your thinking, Alan.
Yeah. So I think we should get a fair amount of points, I think, in those games. And I think we'll get results against Dortmund. I think we'll get a result against Villa. I think, look, Villa beat us, but I think we can come back and beat them. I don't know about... And Frankfurt, we should be able to beat Frankfurt.
They've never beaten us in Europe. Every time we played them, I think it's 3 times we've beaten them. So, or we've gone through if it was away goals. Evening, Steve. Evening, Steve. Jose, let me put this up for you again.
I don't need to see it. All I've got to say is Adrian's done really, really well, right? Because Adrian has only put it up to Frankfurt. The next 3 games after the Frankfurt are Newcastle, or the next 3 home games. The next 3 home games are Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal. So we've got a really tidy run in after that.
But by then, just to add to that, at the end of January, apart from the fact we will have at least 2 more players in, who remains to be seen. So we'll have them in, we'll have new players in. Decky will be back. So Man City, I mean, we always beat Man City. I mean, and then Newcastle and all that. Well, we'll see what form. Well, it's hard to judge because getting through these games, we might be in very good form or we might be a shit show. I mean, it could work out either way for us. I'm confident.
You've put a lot of games up there, Adrian. A hell of a lot of games that we've got to play. When you start looking at it, you're talking about 1 whole month. You got 1, 2, 3,
it's to the end of January.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 games there in 1 month because you've got the 28th of December to the 28th of Jan. So in 1 month,
that's tomorrow's game.
There's 9 games. There's 9 games there. So
I couldn't fit any more in anyway because of the amount of letters it allows you. Only allows you 200. But it got me, and I abbreviated these to get them into the end of January because that's when the transfer window will close. And
So Palace is an awkward game, but we can get something from it. You've got King Hold was saying Palace have injuries, which they have, and they're getting knackered because of they're rotating, but they're doing big rotations in the conference, and I don't think the conference has gone well for them because they have not qualified out of right for the last 16 in the top 8. They've actually qualified outside of that. Brentford away, the way we played against Brentford at home, if we apply ourselves like that away, then we should be able to get a result in Brentford. Sunderland at home is the one I think will definitely win. I think we'll beat Sunderland. I think the horse is bolting, so to speak, at the moment, and I think that we could beat Sunderland. Bournemouth away, tricky. We got beaten by Bournemouth away last year 1-0. We didn't turn up. at Bournemouth last year and got beaten by 1-0, which should have been the 1-0 was a spanking because they really did outplay us at Bournemouth last year. Villa at home, I think that we will beat Villa in the FA Cup at home. Villa will rotate, and we won't rotate as much, and I think we'll win that. I thought that we should have beaten Villa in the league when we lost 2-1 to them as well. West Ham at home, West Ham are really poor, and I would like nothing better to brush West Ham aside. Dortmund at home, it's interesting because Dortmund are doing well in the Bundesliga. So Dortmund at home, I'd take the 1-0 victory. 3 points in the Champions League is 3 points. I'd take a 1-0 victory if we can get it against Dortmund. Burnley away, I think Burnley are not the greatest team either. Should get 3 points at Burnley. And Frankfurt are hit and miss because Frankfurt have been doing well, and then all of a sudden they got spanked by someone 6-0 in the league a couple of weeks ago, and I was like,
well, they've lost Marmoush and they've lost Ekiteke as well. They lost those two, one to Man City and one to Liverpool. So I don't know how strong they are now.
Yeah, they're still a decent side though, because
I like the left back, Nathaniel Brown. I like Nathaniel Brown. I'd like him at Spurs. Pay 50 mil, get him in. I like him, but they've never beaten us in Europe, Frankfurt. You're on mute, Jose. Are you muted?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Steve, welcome.
Hey.
We'll go on for a little bit more as you've turned up, right? How many points do you think we're getting for these results here?
That's a great. That is a very good question. I'm not necessarily a big fan of that Sunderland fixture, and I understand that they're probably going to have players out for AFCON. But that being said, I think the way that Regis Lafree has set that team up, that team is a team that runs itself silly, and they play hard and they seem to get results. Here's the thing. I like our chances against Brentford and I like our chances against West Ham and Burnley. It's going to be interesting. That Dortmund fixture and that Frankfurt fixture is going to be interesting, but I don't like the idea of Palace, Bournemouth, Villa. Yeah. I actually think we drop. I think we drop all 9 to those 3 teams, and I think we pick up 9 against Brentford, West Ham,
and tomorrow against Liverpool
and Burnley. So I think we drop 9 and get 9 from those 3, and I think that Sunderland match is going to be interesting.
And tomorrow against Liverpool.
Do you want my honest opinion, or do you want my heart?
That's what you're here for.
All right. So I actually think we get battered tomorrow. I hate to be the one to say it, but Liverpool, they had a couple embarrassing losses a few weeks back, but then they rebounded with 2 draws against Sunderland, and it was Sunderland and Sunderland and Leeds, but they did beat Brighton, they did beat Inter, so they're unbeaten in their last 4, actually unbeaten in their last 5 because they did beat West Ham. And so from that standpoint, it feels like they've gotten over the issues. Now, don't get me wrong; they're still trying to develop in Arne Slot's new way of wanting to play football, but they have quality, and I would probably assume that they're going to set up in a good position to take advantage of our weaknesses. And I have a feeling we're probably going to concede 4 tomorrow.
Okay. Me, I think we'll win tomorrow. I think we'll get a point at Palace. That's 4. I think we'll beat Brentford away. We'll beat Sunderland at home. That's 10, isn't it? We're definitely beating West Ham and Burnley. So that's 16 points. European games, you never know which way they go. Yeah. I mean, and I think it's the way these fixtures are, I mean, it could real turn toxic against Frank if we were to lose tomorrow and then lose at Palace. There's a lot of pressure then on Brentford away, So but that could happen. But no, I think we'll come through all right. And I'm now more intrigued to see who we are going to bring in January. On that, Alan, James, how many signings do you think we'll get?
1 or 2. I don't think it'll be that drastic, if I'm completely honest. or it'll be, one or two, and then an academy prospect. We found some 18-year-old lad from Belgium, and we spent 40 million quid on him, and no one's ever heard of him.
On that, I'm going to come to you on that, because there's a kid there who I think is the absolute nuts, Nathan Decat at Anderlecht. He's 17. Go and watch a video of this kid. Just go and watch a video.
I've seen him. He's good.
He's an absolute baller. I'm telling you, at that age.
That 19-year-old that plays at FC Köln, the Syed, his name is Syed El Mano or Munu. That kid is legit too. That 19-year-old. There's a reason why both Manchester clubs, Barca and Bayern Munich, want him. That kid is legit.
You've also got half a dozen clubs looking at Jeremy Monger at Leicester City as well. I haven't seen the player, but he was in the news. But we're linked with every man and his dog as usual. But this Nathan Decat, I like this kid. I really like him, and I wouldn't be bringing him to come into a squad at 17, but I would bring him in. I mean, but everyone's looking at him. But he is. I think he looks superb for his age. He looks brilliant. At Anderlecht. So go and have a look at him. Those of you watching the chat, I'm sure you'll be impressed. We haven't asked how many we brought in. Jose, how many do you think we're bringing in?
What, in the transfer window?
Yeah.
I know how many we need to bring in. But
you can say it. Being a bit fair, but go on.
I reckon we need about 8 players. Just and get rid of shit and just bring 8 players in who are first teamers, who are not kids. I'm put it this way, I've been paying out money for Tottenham this year. I don't know whether I can support the Crash next year. I don't want to keep going for young players. I want my team to be playing. If you're going to bring players in for the academy, then fine, right? But stop buying players and saying that you're going to be in the first team. Go out and buy me players that have, that are proven, that have got a bit more about them.
Who's the 8 you're getting rid of?
Who do I
want to bring in 8? Who's the 8 you're getting rid of then? Come on.
Ben Davies?
Yeah.
The Welsh Maldini.
Guillermo Vicario.
2.
Yves Bissouma.
3.
Brennan Johnson.
4.
Richarlison.
5.
Pat Matassar.
6. We'll let you off with 6.
Dane Scarlett. Will
Lancashire.
Are these the players that you want to see sold?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. These are players that I don't think are good enough for the team.
I agree.
And I don't know how many times with a lot of the players, there's some players that we've got, and a lot of them are young as well, but there's some players that we have at the club that we waxed lyrical about, and we've all really wanted them to do well. We've all really wanted them to succeed. But for me, for someone like Dane Scarlett, I think there is a player in Dane Scarlett, but it's not going to be at Tottenham. It's been proven.
Right.
When you've got these other players in front of him, give the kid, let him go, man. Let him go and find his own feet. Let him go and find the first team. It was a bit like Troy Parrott. Troy Parrott, good player, was never going to get in at Tottenham. They let him go and he started flourishing. We need to let players go. Stop holding these players because you're never going to play them. Let them go.
How long did we hang on? How long did we hang on to Manor Solomon?
Yeah.
And
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that's a very good point, right? But a big part of me also thinks that there's going to be certain players that will not be moved until the summer, and it's also transfer targets as well too, right? Like I know that Spurs want the Marc-Andre ter Stegen from FC Barcelona, who wants to actually come to the Premier League. But that being said, unless Spurs are sure that there's going to be a path to actually get him, you would probably assume they're not going to have any conversation with any Serie A team for Vicario to go in January until the summertime, right? So it almost feels like he's probably going to be one of those guys that's going to stick around. Same thing with Richarlison. I just can't see an avenue where they're going to sell Richarlison.
So how many are we bringing in a transfer window, Steve?
2, possibly 3. I know that Spurs really want Ilman Ndiaye from Everton, and he's an attacking midfielder. And so it almost feels like they're trying to bolster their midfield a little bit. But that being said, it's like I can't see them bringing in Antoine Semenyo on top of the fact that he's an Arsenal fan, but also for the fact that regardless of the money that we throw at him, there's a good chance that he's gonna turn us down regardless. And so from that standpoint, I would probably assume making a play for a left-sided winger, which is for me it's priority number one. So whether it's Lookman or whatever the case may be, identifying, or if it's the German 19-year-old. And then also bolstering that left back area as well too. And if that's Nathaniel Bound from Frankfurt, fair enough, right? But I can see two, both on the left side. And then if there is a deal that could be had to bring in a midfielder, that makes sense. 100% bolster the midfield as well too. But
Steve, would you take Kobe Minu from Man United? Because I would.
Ooh, Kobe Minu, huh? I would 100%. But that means you're doing that with the understanding that they're not going to bring back Polini next year, correct?
Alan, how many are we bringing in?
I want to say we're going to bring in like 3 or 4, because I think this is the first. I firmly believe that the first window post Daniel Levy has to be splashy. So I'm thinking 3 or 4.
I think we're bringing 3. I think we're bringing a left back, a left wing, and a midfielder. I mean, rather than Mainu, I think you'd get a cheaper option in Main Zaklouis from Monaco, who played so well against us. I think he would be a better option. But I don't want to get too hung on the window. We've been linked with centre-backs. I mean, my God, if ever 2 players are going to force their way into the squad in the summer, it'll be Mikey Moore and Vuskovic, smashing it in Germany. Others like Lancashire and all that.
I'd bring him back from loan.
I think Scarlett, good finisher. He's going to have an excellent career wherever he ends up playing at Spurs. Lancashire's got an outside chance of being at Spurs next season, depending. See, we don't know whether Moani is going to want to stay at this football club, and if Richarlison goes as well, that only leaves Solanke. See, these are things we don't know. So then you think, well, then we're going to need a backup striker. Lancashire's homegrown. So you'd then have, who do we bring in, as a striker with Solanke if Richarlison goes? I mean, and Frank might like him. You hear all these stories. You don't know if they're true or not. It's like the Semenyo one. Really? All our rivals have been on the phone. I look at it this way. These clubs, I mean, they have spent money, Man City. They bought in Cherky. They've got Doku. They've got Oscar Bob. They don't really need Semenyo. And then it's a question of then if he goes there, he won't guarantee game time. Pep's not going to promise him that. It's the same with Liverpool. They spent £500 million on players. You're thinking, Man United revamped their front line with Cunha and Mbuemo. So I'm taking all these rumours about Semenyo who's already decided to go where he's going with a pinch of salt. Having said that, there are other options out there as wingers. I mean, if Semenyo was to go to City, Savina would definitely be going. He wants football World Cup. Rodrigo's in the same place at Real. He wants football. So you could probably get him on loan to the end of the season, which might suit us if we're going big for a couple of players. I mean, loans. I like the loan to buy deals. I don't know. Any last comments, any of you guys?
I always say that we should have done our homework the day that the summer transfer window closes, start speaking to players, agents, start doing all the groundwork. Deals are notoriously hard to do in the winter transfer window, but if you do your due diligence and you start having these active conversations from the 2nd of September onwards and have a plan in place, because I've always felt that Tottenham have never, ever had a plan in place at all. So hopefully, and I keep saying this every year, Adrian, you've heard me, you've known me for a while now. I say this every year. I say the same thing. The 2nd of September comes and I say we've had another shit window and now we should start doing our homework now and then start preparing. I really do hope, and I really do. I hear a lot of noise saying that, ENIC want to invest. ENIC want to support and back the team. I hear this, but for me, actions speak a lot louder than a lot of bluster. And I would like to see Tottenham. Honestly, I'd like to see Tottenham bring in players that are needed and that we need to improve us right now off the bat. I just fear that we need so many. We need open heart surgery at the moment with the team and the players that we're not going to be able to do that in January. It's going to take a lot more than one window.
And James, I mean, like, we've got this money to spend. We know that Arsenal spent heavily. We know Man City have spent.
Yep.
We know Liverpool spent $500 million, right? We know Chelsea. I mean, when we don't have these clubs of fixed financial fair play, and they may have to wait till the summer to bring players in. This is why we should activate the Semenyo release clause at 65 mil and just see if someone steps in who's going to beat us to the punch. And if the player says, I don't want to come to you, move on quickly. Don't waste time. Move to your other targets.
I think just to weigh in on the point Jose was making, who's, Luca Pochettino, right, when it came to Spurs? Because undoubtedly he did a lot of good, right? We were a struggling side and we improved a lot. What did he do? He sent off Capoue, Kabul, Adebayor. He binned off a lot of first-team players.
Got rid of 35, 36 players in 5.5 seasons.
He binned off a lot of people. And I think that's kind of what's needed. Now, if Frank sits down and says, look, I want these guys gone. I get we couldn't do all that in one summer. I had to assess them. But in January, I want to start moving these people on. 100% fair enough. I understand that. You can't do it all in January. But we have the money. I mean, when you look at the revenue we generate as a football club because of our stadium, because of our brand recognition, etc., because of the fact we've been scrupulous with financial fair play, if it shouldn't just be Frank's decision, but if we go, hey, we think Semenyo would work under Frank or another manager, go get him. Okay, 70 million. I'd much rather we just spend 70 million on fixing one problem than spending 35 million on someone who doesn't fix the problem, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's what we've done.
Sense. Alan, ENIC have they've talked the talk, now they've got to walk the walk, and it's important they do it now in this window.
What's that?
ENIC have talked the talk, they've put some money up, and now they've got to walk the walk in this transfer window, and it's got to be done now. We can get a jump on our rival. We do it.
Yeah.
We may lose one like Semenyo, but we still got the money to get a jump on our rivals and other targets. I mean, like Nico Williams hasn't moved anywhere either, and you've got, they say, go to a Spanish club. I don't know what state of their finances are. They do seem to find the money or sell someone on. But
I'm sure that there are players out there that would be willing to come to Spurs.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that this is the window, the first post-Levy window in, roughly 25 years. So I think they need to splash the cash, make it rain, insert your whatever you want to say. But I think they're going to spend big, and they'll bring in some big players. They need to bring in big players. Again, like Jose was saying, I don't want to see a lot of young talent coming in with potential this window, because again, we're just going to send them out on loan if we use them. We've seen what we do. We kind of squander youth. We're not set up yet to take advantage of the youth the way maybe other clubs are. So,
but also Frank doesn't want to play youth. You know what I mean? Like he wants established players, but it's also we should want to be in the same stratosphere as our nearest competitors, which is Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Arsenal. We want to be competing with those, because if you're telling me that we're going to go get an 19-year-old that also Brentford and Bournemouth and Crystal Palace are after, they're probably going to come to Spurs. But that's one thing to outbid those teams. But we're supposed to be a big club, and we're like you want to be dipping in your same toes, and you want to be competing for those type of players, right? So you're absolutely right, Alan. You're absolutely right. Like it's one thing to splash the cash, but it's also the quality and caliber of player that we're splashing the cash on.
Yeah.
So with Adrian, I'm going to burst your bubble here, Adrian.
Cool.
You named a lot of clubs that have spent lots of money in the recent windows on players. I'm going to burst your bubble. Man City will go again. Liverpool will go again. Arsenal will go again. Man United will go again. Chelsea will go again. These teams will continue spending money.
Liverpool will go
improving their
again
team.
if Salah goes in January, and they should
but
get
they'll-
rid of him.
But they'll all go, listen, you know the score. You know my feelings for the last few years. Where's these Man City charges? Where are they? All right. Where's these Chelsea charges? Listen, at the end of the day, we had a risk-averse person in Daniel Levy put all his eggs into one basket and said, I'm going to run the club this way. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And because I believe that in 3 years' time, it's going to come back to bite everybody's backside. Okay, we've had PSR, whatever you want to call these new, we've had all this in here for like the last 5 years, 6 years, and not one team has had their ass bit yet. And they keep going and they keep buying and they keep going and they keep buying. And we just get left behind. We need to start catching up with the Joneses, and that means start doing our own stuff.
Arsenal needs to sell.
Get the clever
Arsenal
people, get bright people into your club, and clever people, the same as other clubs have done. And you've watched other clubs spend and move a zillion miles in front of Tottenham. We just need the same thing. Get the right people in who've got the minds to circumnavigate, go round the rules, do what the other clubs are doing, because they're not getting caught out for it.
Well, I have to disagree with you a bit, because I've read reports that Arsenal need
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
need to sell, and they might not move in this window because they need to get rid of players, right? Liverpool spent about $500 million on players, and they're trying to bed them players in, which hasn't happened quite. So the last
Liverpool sold a lot, but Liverpool got a lot of money in last season as well. They got about 300 million in last season, so they balanced the books.
But what I'm saying is,
money in.
If you're still trying to bed players in, like Isaac isn't quite eating off, Florian Wirtz, they'll probably both score on or on. Now I've said that, but I mean, like, if they're struggling, then Slot needs to bed them in. I mean, like, and you can they've got an abundance of riches already without trying to get some menu in. City again. Are you going to promise them? I mean, you shouldn't have to promise the player first team place. They should have enough confidence themselves to go. Then they're going to go get a place in the team and hold it down. But with like, they've got 3 or 4 wingers there already, So, and then you're going to bring in one in. I mean, like, if you bring Semenyo in, obviously, and Savinho's only had 4 games, and some of them managed to hang on to him, and they must promised him, but he's had 4 starts this season. I would take him, but he wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, I'd rather get Rodrigo or Semenyo personally, but I would take him.
Adrian,
I'll take Nico Williams before him.
Adrian, with you, I've had this conversation last winter. I had this conversation last summer, the summer before that, and the winter before that, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. These clubs have gone again and bought and bought and bought. Nothing's changed. And I'm saying the last 5 or 6 years things changed, but I'm going to say the last 4 transfer windows, these teams have gone and gone again.
We'll see. We'll see. But until Semenyo's holding up the Man City, Liverpool, or Arsenal shirt, there's so much BS in his transfer that clubs are talking that he's going there, that he doesn't want to come here and all that. Well, if we know a player doesn't want to come, straight away move on. And these conversations should have been had with agents behind the scene. Is the player interested in coming to us? I mean, other clubs are interested in him, but is he coming to us if the other clubs aren't interested, or they want to wait till the summer? We need those conversations. And if the player says no, we move on. But we don't know the lists. But I'm pretty sure we will be looking for a left back. I'm pretty sure we're definitely looking for a left-sided attacker, because even Rob others has said those come out of the club at the beginning of the season. And then you've got whether we bring in that midfield general, because Decky will be back. So I think one top quality, whether it's a David Fatese who's been linked lately, I would take him. He's a dog of war in midfield. Gets up and down the pitch and bangs in a few goals as well. I would take him, but we'll see.
I need to go head off and cast. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be on. Happy Christmas
see you next week.
to you, Adrian, and everyone else.
We will be doing a show Boxing Day next week. It's on a Friday, so if any of you gents are available on Boxing Day, you probably won't be.
I think I will be, but Have a good Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, if
and
everyone
you're
comes on an
interested-
e-braid, it's Christmas. That's allowed. But okay, thanks for coming. We're going to end the show now anyway. Right, we're going a bit longer in respect of Steve here. Thank you, James.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to thank the guests for coming on. We'll get you all back, obviously, and I'll always reciprocate and go on your shows as well if you're ever doing them. Right, as long as it's not on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, or whatever. Ian will be doing the Sunday show post-match Liverpool.
Basically every day of the week, then, Adrian.
Fingers crossed. We get the points on Saturday. So Ian's got a show to host. A happy Ian. Now he's back from his travels. Yeah, so he'll be doing that. So that'll be going out, as far as I know, at 9:30. If there's a change in time, I'll put it up. If he changes it, it'll only be at 9 o'clock. But I think it'll be at 9:30 on Sunday. And I will do a show next Tuesday because it's the day before Christmas Eve. And then we say Friday's Boxing Day. So we'll see what guests are available that have recovered and not hungover or whatever. And with that, we got 60 of you viewing us on various platforms. If you like the content, like I've said earlier, please hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. We can't see it, you can. Give the videos a like, hit that like button. And we do memberships, only £2. We don't rip Spurs fans off here. So if you want a membership, memberships are available at £2. You can get a membership. You can find us on Facebook, Spurs Dards TDD on Facebook. You can find us on XCOM. We've got a WhatsApp group, which if people want to guest on the show, and you're all welcome, as long as you're mature and sensible, we just need your details, which you can private messages through Facebook or probably through XCOM, formerly Twitter. Just private message me through there and Spurs Dards, so we can exchange phone numbers, add you to a WhatsApp group. It's a pretty good WhatsApp group. There's about 60 in there now. And actually, I left a load of other WhatsApp groups because they were just too toxic for me. So, yeah. So that's about it about us. Like I say, Ian will be doing a show Sunday. I'll do one Tuesday before Christmas Eve and Friday as well. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Kulusevski forever.
I'll end the stream with a bit of soul music.
Take care, everyone. Thank you very
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. navy blue.